Hi and welcome to Podpadstudios episode 18. Right, on today's show we're not going to be talking about the zombie apocalypse.
Yes!
The what?
This is a zombie apocalypse.
Why can't you say zombie apocalypse?
I get halfway through zombie and I realise there's not a H in it.
No, there isn't an H in zombie.
Well, I always thought there was a H in it, so I say
How could you possibly think there's an H in zombie?
Well, I don't know, just a zombie.
Anyway, so at the weekends we are
zombie
out and about
apocalypse.
at Comic Cons around the UK.
Zombie.
And basically we take our props out and people probably know us more from our props rather than kind of who we are actually. And we just got us thinking a little bit about those weekends and the kind of the behind the scenes and how you guys might like to know what goes on behind the scenes at these weekends. And particularly the organisers that run these events.
So we're going to do a meet the organiser.
Yeah, so we thought, like a little feature. So you guys get to see who organises these events, who creates the magic, basically, behind the Comic Cons. So we started off by meeting up with
David Burrows.
David
from
Burrows.
Stars of Time.
He runs Stars of Time, and it runs August Bank Holiday, and it runs the
Christmas
sort
First
of time.
week of December.
He does 2 shows, and they're based in Western-Super-Mare.
Brill shows.
Yeah.
And I was really lucky because I caught up with him when we were at Animal Farm Adventure Park down in Bryn. Hi guys, I'm down at Breen at the Animal Farm Park and I was extremely lucky to bump into David Burrows from Stars of Time Comic Con, and as part of our Meet the Organisers series we thought we'd just have a little chat with him. Thanks for talking to us, David.
Morning, Anna.
Morning. Just wondered if you could tell us how you got started with Comic Cons.
Originally years ago, 15, 16 years ago, I used to have a little collectible shop in Western-Super-Mare, and for the opening I decided to get one of the actors from one of the films down to open the shop.
Cool.
So
Who did you get?
decided on Dave Burrows. So he was a local man to Bristol, so quite close to Western. So contacted Dave, he came down for the day, opened the shop, did a little bit of advertising, and the queue when we arrived in the morning was round the blocks. It was
very popular.
Huge. He was
very popular man.
busy all day,
Yeah.
and he actually said it was one of his most enjoyable and best sign-ins he's ever done.
And then you thought to yourself, I'll do some cons.
Yeah, we'll do a Comic Con. So we did one at the Winter Gardens.
Right.
And
I think Mark was there with Mr. Maker was there with his droids, I think.
I think he was. Yeah, it was. We had the whole place. Obviously, it was a bigger venue then than it is now. But we had so many. I think we had nearly 30 people signing autographs.
Wow.
So it was. Yeah,
huge.
it was a really good show.
So you've met some big stars in your time. You've probably got some stories to tell.
I have over the years. At one point, there was Dave Burrows, Kenny Baker, and Jeremy Bullock in my kitchen. So.
Wow. I bet that was an evening.
Yeah, so I've got some good photos as well to look back on. But yeah. So it's
Okay.
Over the years, there's been a lot more people we've met.
So when's your next event? Can you tell us a little bit about the next
one? Well, I've cancelled both this year.
Yeah,
due
obvious
to COVID.
reasons. Yeah.
But next year's is rebooked for the bank holiday weekend at the end of August.
Okay.
Down at the Tropicana in Western again.
Stars of Time events there are extremely popular, aren't they?
They are popular. Yeah, you've got the added bonus of being it's almost on the beach because the venue's actually built on the beach. And you've got the sea.
And so some of the shots with the Comic Con and the cosplayers, I mean, we'll probably put a few up, but they just look fabulous against the sea.
Yeah, and the fun fair, you've got the fun fair as well just outside, so
Yeah.
that's an added bonus.
And what was your favourite event you've ever put on?
The favourite one actually was last August.
Okay.
2019.
Yeah.
And we did the added thing of organising with Somerset cosplayers the cosplay parade along the promenade.
And that was really successful,
So it was successful. We were blessed with the weather as well both days, but...
Roughly how many people did you have going down and up, do you know?
I think the Sunday one must have been a couple of hundred.
Oh, brilliant.
And the Monday was a little bit, it's always a bit quieter on the second day, but the costumes.
It was a really colourful parade. It was amazing.
Yeah,
so many people walked up and down. So as an event organiser, how's COVID affected you?
Well, this year's been a bit of a write-off. After
2 events.
Doing a lot of planning for the August one early in the year, that was obviously cancelled. And then speaking to the venue, the December one, we decided to cancel as well. I think it's just too risky with the restrictions, and an indoor event makes it really difficult at the moment. My sister company, the Dino Hire, we are going to have our busiest year. After February's small one at Western Museum, COVID appeared, everything's been cancelled, and this is our first one for the year. Luckily it's outdoors and there's so much room, so social distance is no problem, but this could be the only one we do for the year, to be
So I
honest.
guess you're saying if it doesn't change, then most events will have to go outside next year.
Well,
Is
I
that the
think
future
they
you
may
see?
do. I've got some other ideas for next year if this doesn't
Okay.
look
This
as
is
though
cool.
it's clearing up. So I've got a couple of other ideas for the Comic-Con, maybe in August. We've got enough time
Okay.
between now and August to
Rearrange
see
it.
what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Thanks very much for talking to us. Is there anything else you want to say while you're here?
well, the Comic-Con for Stars of Time's definitely
Okay.
gonna go ahead for
We'll put the
next-
link below, guys.
next August, bank holiday, Sunday and Monday again, on the Western Seafront at the Tropicana. So fingers crossed
It's such fun.
it all goes ahead, and hopefully see as many of you there as possible.
Okay. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you, Anna.
Bye then.
Bye-bye.
So thanks so much, David, for that interview. It was absolutely fab. And guys, if you're out there, please, if you're out there, cool. Start again.
Is there anything out there?
No.
Sorry. Sex Files, isn't it? The truth is out there.
If you're out...
Time for gurning.
Right, start again. Thanks for that interview, David. It was really cool. And obviously the Stars of Time Comic Con is on in the August Bank Holiday 2021 and it's at Western-Super-Mare. Wookies, droids, on the beach. What more could you want?
It's a brilliant, brilliant event. And there is a second one as well at Christmas, just before
Yeah,
Christmas.
November,
it's usually
December.
kind of like the second week of December, or
first
first
week.
week of December.
Yeah,
And
really
it's a
cool.
great opportunity to get your Christmas presents and stuff like
Yeah.
that as well. They're
So-
just brilliant, brilliant events. Really good location as well. Anyway, so we're out and about at events and we're taking big props like Batmobiles and Blade Runner spinners and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And we do get sometimes a little bit of frustration from people that say, oh, I would love to be able to afford to build a prop like that. And
But I
how do
can't
you do it? And
afford
I
it.
can't afford it. And yeah, I know big props, they do cost a considerable amount of money to build those things, to get that kind of finish that we get on them. However, you can also build amazing small scale props
On small budgets.
on small budgets. And
Yeah.
it just got me thinking a little bit about one particular one that we did for a display, which was the Game of Thrones egg box, you know, the one with the dragon eggs in it. And we did one of those, and we had to do it on literally no budget at all. So we thought we'd share with you basically how we created the Game of Thrones dragon sort of egg box
For £20.
for £20. Okay then, so this is our Game of Thrones display box. This is the dragon kind of egg box. And let's have a quick look inside. You can see that we've got our dragon eggs that sit inside the box. And then we've got actually some of these, which are little sort of candles. So it kind of, when the box is all displayed in the dark, it looks really, really good with the candles. And all in, it kind of has a really kind of nice effect, really. Let me close that up again so that you can see. Now, how did I produce this? Well, this is really, really simple. This is literally a wooden box. Now, this was done with 18mm ply, and it's just a standard box. So I don't really know what else to say about it's just a box. So there's no fancy joints here. It's just basically glued together with a bit of wood glue, and it's a box. And it's just been stained with some wood stain to give it that kind of, you know, that kind of more antique look. Inside, it's lined with a bit of leatherette. So again, I think there's about a metre square of leatherette that was used. And all these things are very, very cheap. So you pay a tiny amount of money for just a small piece of leatherette. And again, the wood, it could just be scrap wood. It doesn't have to be a nice, fancy new piece of wood. These that you can see here, these panel pins, these are, well, as I said, they're panel pins. These are more dull finished ones, I think copper finish, or I can't remember, but this is a shiny version of it that you can see, and there's one of the ones that was used on it. You can buy these in packs of sort of 5, 6, 7, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, whatever you want. So basically what I've done is I've used them to line the inside of it. It makes it look like kind of rivets on an old antique box. The padding inside it is just a bit of bubble wrap that the eggs sit on. And really that's kind of it for the inside of the box, really. It's very, very simple. It's a wooden box with a bit of padding covered in leatherette with these panel pins put around it, really. Obviously you need a couple of hinges for the back, but they're just DIY shop hinges. There's nothing special about those. And then I've used like a gate hinge here at the front but I'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, the outside of the box. How do I get this kind of look for this kind of, you know, the Game of Thrones sort of look for the box? All of these details that are put on here, all of this, apart from the panel pins that again you can see put everywhere, this is all done with cardboard. Now, it is literally cardboard, just, you know, it could be old cereal boxes. This is just, you know, modelling cardboard. But like I said, it could be cardboard boxes, anything that you've got lying around. And these pieces on the front here are literally, look, just drawn out. Obviously probably done with a little bit more detail and or a bit more care in drawing them out. Once you've got your bits and pieces made up, they are literally just stuck on with glue gun, and that's what gives you this kind of this effect, this relief effect. And there's bits of card placed upon bits of card placed upon bits of card. Now, this wasn't done with a laser cutter, this wasn't done with a fancy machine. It is literally get a compass, draw a circle, cut your things out, use a knife, use scissors, just take your time and get the shapes. And really it's time more than money. Now, to get the effect of all this is just over painted, and it's kind of given it a weathered sort of look, and it's done with acrylic paints. But to be honest, it was only a couple of colours, so you don't need to go out and buy loads of colours. In fact, all you ever really need is black, white and the 3 primary colours, and with those you can then of course make any shade in any colour that you want. We use the System 3 paints, and we've talked about these before. These are amazing paints. Now, granted, this sort of size, they do cost a little bit more money, but you know, once you've bought this, you're going to use this on loads and loads of projects, and I would I would recommend buying it like this rather than the little tubes. Nothing wrong with the little tubes if you're just doing one project, but obviously it's far more economical to do it like that. And this stuff is awesome. Really, really good acrylic paint. Okay, so there is a little bit of metal on this. Obviously we've got the main wooden box. As I said, it's lined inside, and the main details are all done with cardboard. But on these edges, these corners, I decided to do it metal because it gave it a little bit of weight, and there's that coldness to it when you touch it. Now, I used aluminium, and it's literally scrap aluminium that we had lying around. But you might not have aluminium lying around. There are loads of people that you can go and ask. You know, lots of companies that have boxes of this stuff or skips full of this stuff. Okay, you might not have access to that. You can buy small sheets of aluminium at very, very low cost, and you might find that you could then use that on other projects. You don't have to use aluminium. It could, you could just use cardboard and you could paint it. Another great one is old tins, baked bean tins, things like that. Cut them up, hammer them down, flatten them down, put them on. You can get metal onto things like that. There's lots of ways that you can find alternatives if you can't access aluminium. But again, this, as I said, this is scrap. It's literally cut into pieces, and it's so thin, this stuff, that it will cut with a pair of tin snips, or you could use a jigsaw or something like that. Cut it, file it down, and literally stick it on with the glue gun again. And then what I've then done, where I've done that, is I've dirtied it over with black acrylic. So I've taken the sort of the black acrylic and I've pushed it into the areas to make it look old and dirty. And I've done that on quite a lot of it as well. It's kind of a weathering effect. So water the acrylic down, paint it all over, wipe it all off, clean it all off, and where it goes into all little crevices, just leave it, and it just looks dirty, because that's kind of naturally where things would weather anyway. So pretty much that's it. On the top we've got these domes that I didn't mention. Now they're actually 3D printed. They're just little hemispheres that have been 3D printed. Again, if you didn't want to 3D print those, you could use just polystyrene balls. You can get these from craft shops. Cut them in half, stick them on. That would be another way to do that, to give you that effect. So apart from the eggs, which, as I mentioned, are 3D printed. Now, there's lots of ways to do this. You could, if you have a 3D printer, you can go onto Thingiverse. You could download something that looks like a dragon egg, play around with the design yourself if you wanted to, and print it. And as you know, if you've got a 3D printer, you'd be printing it, and the cost is next to nothing. Obviously, they're painting it with acrylic paint to give it this kind of effect, and then weathered. Or you could contact people like us. You know, we can provide you with painted or unpainted dragon eggs, which you can get on East Day store. Yeah, I mean, these ones, we drew these out ourselves, and they're slightly little bit bigger, so they fit in the box a little bit better. But as I said, there's lots of ways to do that. The alternative, of course, is you could make these out of paper mache. Now, you've seen from stuff that we've done with the Horn of Erebor and loads of projects that we've done, you know, make this out of paper mache. Get some newspaper, scrunch it up into a ball, wrap it with masking tape, cover it with paper mache, and then all these details you could put them in with either with paper mache, or you could even go over it with a glue gun and put the details in with the glue gun and then paint it. There's lots of ways to do these things on a budget to make them look really, really good. And then you end up with something that kind of, you know, it looks the part, really. Now, to set this off and make this look really, really good, we found these little night lights. They just found them online. They're really, really, really cheap. Dropped a little bit of wax over the top of them, and voila, really cool effect.
So that was how we built the Game of Thrones dragon egg box for less than £20. And we'll have another video up about how we also built a gonk droid from all the junk we have hanging around in the studio, and that would probably have cost less than £20 as well.
Yeah, I mean, a 3D printer does make a difference in that you can get your costs down to virtually next to nothing, but what you do got to consider, or have got to consider, is you've got to buy the 3D printer in the first place.
So you can buy printed parts of lots of things online, or you can approach somebody like us, makers like us who've got them, and we will print them for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the other thing is, the way we keep our costs down is we recycle a lot of junk.
Yep.
And that will be in the video. We'll put the link below about the gonk droid.
Well, you saw that last week with the zombie apocalypse.
Yep.
Car. The
a
what?
lot of recycled.
The what? The what?
Moving on. So, guys, it's the end of the show. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and hit the bell. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.